Dead Rising 2 is not only a classic and a great game, but in my opinion, it is what you call a masterpiece, and probably my second favorite Dead Rising game, just behind, just a tiny bit behind Dead Rising 2 Off the Record. And the reason why I like Dead Rising 2 Off the Record is, one, you get to play as Frank West again, and it also has its own story, but it also has sandbox mode, and it expands on the map even more, and there's just, it's like Dead Rising 2, but with smaller improvements and just more to it, in my opinion, and I just like Off the Record more, but Dead Rising 2 is still a masterpiece. The gameplay is pretty similar to the first Dead Rising game, except with improvements almost all around, and you also play as Chuck Green instead of Frank West, so there's also no taking pictures in this game because, well, you're not a journalist, you haven't covered wars. But Dead Rising 2 improved on almost every aspect of Dead Rising. Let's start with the combat first, which is the first major improvement. This is the first Dead Rising game to introduce combo weapons also, which became a staple for the franchise. I also just said the word first way too many times. Combo weapons slash weapon crafting, whatever you want to call it. It is called combo weapons, but technically it's crafting a weapon from two different items. They basically allow you to take two basic weapons or objects, technically it could be anything, into a combo weapon, which is either a more powerful weapon or a utility, and by utility I mean there's one combo weapon that allows you to get more money from ATMs, and that's what I'm calling utilities. I'm not sure if there's another utility. If there is, I've never found it or made it, but most of them they're just like really good weapons. Some of them are kind of bad. Some of them are just not that great in my opinion, and I never use them, but some are most of them are just very powerful, or they're just plain fun to use. And combo weapons also make boss fights a bit easy. I mean, there was a boss fight where I didn't really have any weapons because I didn't purposely walk into a boss fight. I just accidentally happened to walk into that area, and I was kind of low on weapons, but I knew of a maintenance room nearby, and I went there and I crafted a combo weapon and then ran back. It was like, I don't know, not that far away, and I beat the fight within like 10 seconds. So there are definitely some very powerful combo weapons.
We could have been so good together. Our wedding night would have been so...
You may now kiss the bride.
Psychopaths are also as interesting to me as the first game, in my opinion, and they each have their own special moveset and weapons, just like the first game. The only issue that I have with the Psychopaths in Dead Rising 2 is that they're kind of a bit easier in this game compared to the first game, because you have combo weapons, and some combo weapons, again, can just destroy the Psychopaths. Like, you can complete some Psychopaths fights just like within 10 to 30 seconds, and that's kind of a bit too quick for some of these Psychopath fights. Like, You know, the psychopaths seemed more deadly, to be honest, in the first game compared to the second game, just because of you have combo weapons. But also, when you kill a psychopath, they also, just like the first game, they drop their special weapon, whether it be a giant pink chainsaw or something else. There's usually, not all the time, but there's usually a weapon that they have that whatever weapon that they've been fighting you with, they usually drop it when they die, and you can pick it up and you learn some new combo weapon. I do like, just as the first game, I'll say that again because a lot of it is just like the first game but with improvements. I do like the intro that the psychopaths have. It gives them more personality and charm to them, and that's kind of, I think the first game and the second game do that the best compared to the third game and the fourth game. I think the first game and the second game just have better psychopaths, in my opinion. I mean, especially since the fourth game doesn't even have psychopaths, so, you know, that's a thing. Or actually it's not a thing.
Come in. Finally. I am Antoine. They call me the King of Cuisine. I've been expecting you.
What?
Well, you're a little bit late. But it's good you finally made it. It's true what they say. Tastes like chicken. Wait! Needs a bit more butter. This is for you. I've created my ultimate dish. Daring, original, exotic, and fresh. Oh, yes, very fresh. You and your readers will find it easily worthy of 4 stars.
My readers? What are you talking about?
You're not the reviewer. But I've been waiting for you!
Who the hell would want to eat this?
How dare you! I'm Antoine! I am the King of Cuisine! No matter. This can still be a once-in-a-lifetime meal, so sit, relax. Antoine will make you dinner!
One big improvement from the first game going into this game, one big improvement that the second game has is the AI of the survivors. Like, the survivors were just so annoying to save in the first game. It's just, they were just like stupid all the time. They were just like just unbelievably stupid, and just they're kind of tedious to save in the first game. They're still not the smartest in the second game, but they do follow you better, and they don't purposely just run into a pack of zombies and then expect you to save them. Instead, in this one, they sometimes just shoot each other or smack each other trying to kill the zombies, sometimes. But for real, they are improved for the most part. They follow you better. You can call them and they listen better, and they just they attack zombies and give them weapons, and they just do things better than the survivors in the first game. Like, the survivors in the first game, it just felt like they didn't even know what direction they were going, and it kind of felt like they wanted to die from the zombies, and they were just annoying to save. They're not that annoying in the second game. And the survivors also sometimes give you things after you save them once they get into the safe house. They also give you around 10,000 PP per survivor save, so they're also a great way to level up. So survivors are definitely improved in this game, and they're actually more fun to save. There are also a lot of mini games like slot machines. There's a bunch of different slot machines. The money blower thing where you're trying to press the space bar as fast as you can to grab a bunch of money. Whatever the hamster ball is, I don't even know. And also poker. There's also poker later on in the game that you can play, and I'm not going to talk much about that poker. I don't even know how to play poker, to be honest, but you know, poker seems to be a mini game in a lot of games, and I still don't know how to play it. I never will probably figure out how to play the game, because every time I play it, I just press random buttons or just do something random. I'm not even sure what I'm doing half the time. But hey, that's just me. So if you ever want to break from slaying zombies in this game though, or psychos, take a little, 5 to 10 minute break, you can play some poker, do the hamster ball, slot machines, the money blower thing, and some other things. One of the gripes, one of the just cons, or just things that I didn't like about the first game, is also in the second game, and that's the movement speed. Kind of like the first game, it just feels really slow for some reason. Like, why do Frank West and Chuck Green move so slow? Like, they get knocked down, they take years to get back up. It just seems like they're walking slow. Like, why do you gotta be so slow all the time? Everything just feels a little slow in this game. I don't know what it is, but the first game and the second game, the movement speed is just a little bit slow. I wish it was just increased by just not too much, just like a little bit, just a tiny bit, and then it would be better in my opinion. Another major addition that the second game added was online co-op. I mean, Dead Rising, but with a friend. Is there anything better than that? I don't think so, to be honest. But it is just, I mean, it's online co-op in Dead Rising. Do I really need to say more? It's Dead Rising, but you get to play online with friends. I mean, it's you can't go wrong with co-op. It's also miles, years. It's universes better than whatever Dead Rising 4 had. Like, I played Dead Rising 4's co-op mode maybe one time, thought it was trash, and I never touched it again. Unlike that, this co-op mode, I mean, it's basically like the single player experience, but just with a friend, so it's great. There's also the Terror is Reality co-op game mode where you can earn money, but since the online is kind of dead, unless you have 3 other friends to play with, then you probably won't be able to play the mode, as no one else is currently playing it, or at least when I tried, no one else but me was playing it. I even made my own little lobby and sat there and waited, and no one ever showed up. I was all by myself, forever. Snap, get out of here. Want some? Now, I think the graphics are fine because the game released in 2010, and I think it looks fine for 2010, to be honest with you, but I actually think the first game might have held up better somehow. Maybe it's because of the reflections that are in the first game. I'm not actually entirely sure. I've been thinking about it a lot on why I think the first game holds up better and kind of looks better than the second game, and I think it's kind of the reflections that are in it, because like the grocery store in the first game just looks so good, and it looks better than anything that's in the second game. But the second game doesn't really look bad. Man, I'm really not sure here, because I think it holds up well for 2010, but I think it holds up worse than the first game. But you make you judge the game however you want. You make your own opinion on the graphics of this game. Let's just play a little short graphics montage, or like video montage showing off the graphics of this game just a little bit. Remember, this game released 2010. Dead Rising 2 stars a new protagonist to face the zombie apocalypse. His name is Chuck Green, and he is the second best protagonist, only behind Frank West, but higher than the Dead Rising 4 Frank West, because let's all be honest here, that's a completely different Frank West. The Frank West in the first and second game is not even the same Frank West that's in the fourth game. They may have the same name, but they're different, okay? They're just different. Chuck Green is a former motocross champion whose life got flipped upside down when his wife was killed and turned into a zombie, and his daughter was infected by his mother because his wife bit his daughter, and well, now his daughter's going to become a zombie unless she continuously gets some Zombrex. And that was the zombie outbreak that happened in Las Vegas. He ended up in Fortune City though, where he finds out that he can take part in a popular game show called Terror is Reality, which he takes part in only to get money to buy Zombrex to keep his daughter from turning into a zombie. The game starts with you participating in the Terror is Reality game show. After the game ends, zombies end up breaking out. Chuck is framed for the incident, and now he must clear his name while keeping his daughter from becoming a zombie by collecting Zombrex for her. That's basically a summary of the game's story, and I'll leave the rest out just in case you haven't played this game, in that case, I don't know what you're doing. Go get the game and play it. I mean, not to mention the game is usually cheap and you can play it with a friend and have tons of hours and hours of fun and content to play together, but like, you know, if you like zombie games and you haven't played any of the Dead Rising games, or you haven't played Dead Rising 2, I don't even know what you're doing. Dead Rising 2 is absolutely a masterpiece and a fantastic zombie game. One of the best, I might add. I've gone back to this game plenty of times over the years since it released in 2010. I first played it like, I don't know, 2011 maybe, and I rented the game. Yeah, when you could just go to the store and rent games. I don't even know if that's still a thing anymore. Is it? I know GameFly is still around. I don't know how GameFly is still around. That's kind of crazy and blowing my mind, but I don't even know why I'm talking about it. But I will probably keep coming back to this game every so often to get some zombie killing fun and to experience Dead Rising. And I will probably revisit some of the other Dead Rising games for years to come, because Dead Rising in general is just great in my opinion, except for 4. We don't speak of that very much, but the first one is good. The second one is great. Off the Record is fantastic. Well, the second one is also fantastic. I don't really remember how good the third one is, to be honest. I played through it. I beat the entire game of the third one. It's just I haven't played it in so long, and it's the only zombie game that well, the third one and the fourth one. I never revisited the third one and the fourth one, and I'm going to be revisiting those two games soon. Preferably, I want to try to revisit Off the Record, Dead Rising 3 and Dead Rising 4 before the end of the year, and I kind of want the last one to be the fourth one, since the fourth one takes place around Black Friday, that whole Christmas sale thing. I might just play it right now, skip the third one, the second one, go back to them, and just play the fourth one right now. Because I kind of want to line it up to where I'm playing Dead Rising 4 and it's all Christmassy in the game, and it's going to be like my Christmas video and stuff like that, because it's kind of Christmassy, the fourth game. But you know, we'll see what happens. But man, if Dead Rising, if the franchise ever comes back, you know, if they make Dead Rising 5, if Dead Rising 5 eventually is a thing, I hope they bring back the good old gameplay that Dead Rising 2 had, / Dead Rising 2 Off the Record had, or even possibly, maybe we can even possibly get some remasters of the first Dead Rising and the second Dead Rising game and Off the Record, because that would also be fantastic. But we'll have to see what the future holds for Dead Rising games. The fourth one just kind of ruined the entire franchise, which is kind of sad. I know the third one wasn't as big. Well, it might have been a success, I'm not sure, but I know, you know, the ones that are most liked are the first one and the second one, and the least liked ones are the third one and the fourth one, with the fourth one being the least liked one. And the fourth one just kind of like, it was so bad, there hasn't been another one since, and I really hope the fourth one just didn't put an end to this franchise. I hope Capcom will come back to it and make another Dead Rising game. We need one. We need another great Dead Rising game, unlike the fourth one. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment below, tell me what you guys think about Dead Rising 2 and the franchise. Where do you think the franchise is going to be going in the future? Do you think Dead Rising will get a 5th game or a remaster? Do you think the Dead Rising franchise is kind of done? And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because you want to be subscribed, and I'll see you guys next time.
But it all